Hi guys, it's Mark Zickery, Mr. Sci-Fi, also known as Mark Zickery of Space Command, and it's been a little while since I've checked in on Mr. Sci-Fi because I've been busy. I've been attending a number of conferences to meet network executives and start laying the track with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, all these other networks, Fox, etc. to pitch Space Command, and it's going very, very well. I, in fact, spoke with an executive at Mattel yesterday because, of course, I was a writer for He-Man, and I developed Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future for television, and so it'll be very interesting to go into Mattel and show them our Space Command designs and see where that leads. But meantime, we're continuing forward on Space Command with visual effects and the whole 9 yards and shooting more, etc., etc., etc. If you want to find out about Space Command, my previous Mr. Sci-Fi was all about what we're doing, and if you check my Facebook page or Twitter or spacecommandmovie.com, you can see exactly what we've been doing with this big science fiction project. But mainly, I just kind of wanted to touch base on several science fiction things going on in the larger world and chime in and talk about them and ruminate. So today we're going to be talking about some of the more recent releases in the science fiction realm in TV and film. So I want to touch base on Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Wonder Woman, Handmaid's Tale, whatever else comes to mind. So one thing that's very interesting is many, many networks, what puts them on the map initially or early on is science fiction or fantasy. So for instance, with Fox, it was X-Files. With WB, it was Buffy. UPN, if you remember that network, it was the Star Trek franchise, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, etc. With Hulu now, it's Handmaid's Tale, and of course HBO has Game of Thrones. Netflix has its wonderful, interesting, strange shows. Stranger Things, of course, is one of them, and so forth. Amazon has Man in the High Castle. So science fiction and fantasy tend to put networks on the map, and of course entertain all of us. In the films, of course, Wonder Woman and Guardians of the Galaxy have come out, and they're good films. They're very entertaining. There's other films that have come out that have been less so. I haven't seen The Mummy yet, but I'm not eager to see The Mummy, though I always root for Tom Cruise because he's done a lot of very good work. He's not my favorite guy, but he works very hard. And by the way, if you've never seen Edge of Tomorrow, which is also known as Live, Die, Live, or whatever it's called. It's a really good film. Doug Liman, I've heard that there's a sequel in the works, but it's really fun, and Emily Blunt, I think, is great in it, and it's just excellent. Also, Neil Blomkamp is doing some kind of web series coming down the pike about an alien invasion. It looks very good from the trailer. It's not out yet, but we'll definitely talk about that. So let's get into some of this stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Very fun, very fun. Again, kind of forgettable, but well made, well done. They talk about the women being kind of secondary, not being in the dynamic action roles. And yes, this is true. It's a very complicated plot, and Kurt Russell is great. It's great to see him as the villain. And they have an age, like they make him young in some scenes, and he looks really good. It's very, very good. Much better than Princess Leia and Peter Cushing in Rogue One. And so good for them. Good for them. And I love Kurt Russell. The Thing is one of my favorite movies. He's great in Big Trouble in Little China. He's great in many, many things. And I'm glad he's enjoying a career renaissance. And in fact, we've been talking with some people in his camp, and so we'll see someday down the road. Maybe we'll get to work with him. That would be great fun. I would love to do that. And so it's a fun film. Rocket is fun. Of course, the tree that dances. Baby Groot, Vin Diesel in one of his greatest roles, and so it's just entertaining, and I think it's meant just primarily to be entertaining, and certainly everyone involved is working hard. Dave Bautista is very good, and I'll be very interested to see what he does in Blade Runner 2049, because the little shot of him, this massive guy with these little teeny glasses, looks really interesting, and so I'm keeping an eye on him. And again, he's someone I'd be very interested in working with. So that's, yeah, so go to it, enjoy it. It's fun. The production design is great. Visual effects are really good, and then there's Wonder Woman, and finally they do a female superhero well, and Gal Gadot is a terrific choice, and the cast is great, and Chris Pine as a second banana, her titular boyfriend is very, very good. I was dubious about them moving it to World War One instead of World War Two, but it works. It really works, and so it's a very good film, very entertaining film. And let's talk about Chris Pine for a minute, because let's just say it right here and now. He's a much better actor than William Shatner. He's not as good at Captain Kirk. I mean, he's okay as Kirk, but Shatner was iconic. William Shatner is the greatest bad actor ever, because he can pull faces, he can do all of his goofy Shatner stuff, and he's terrific. He's just terrific, and I love William Shatner, and he made Captain Kirk what he was. I mean, all of his narcissism, all of his showboating, to coin a Donald Trump phrase, all of his um, just all of that vanity that Shatner brings to the role of Kirk works for Kirk, works really well, because I was having lunch with Damon Lindelof a few years ago, and we were talking about Star Trek, because he was working on the Star Trek movies at that point, and I'd just done the World Enough in Time, the Sulu episode I did. That got nominated for the Hugo Nebula, which you can watch in its entirety at markzicree.com. And we were talking about how all the worst traits of Kirk are what make him interesting: his vanity, his he's all the stuff he does. He's not a loyal friend. He's a someone that it was sort of a jerk, but he's a womanizer. But it works. It works. All of that boldness and Kirk quality makes that character work. So Chris Pine is good as Kirk, but he's actually a wonderful actor. And everything I've ever seen him in, he's very, very good. He's very good in comedy, very good in drama. Hell or High Water, if you haven't seen it, is a wonderful film, and I wish he'd been nominated for an Oscar for that role. I think he deserved it. And in Wonder Woman, he's in a sort of a thankless role as the second banana boyfriend guy, but he does it well. He does it well, and he plays it well off Gal Gadot, because she's very tough and strong, and he plays off that well. He's got kind of a boyish quality that kind of takes a little edge off her, and that's very good, very clever casting, and the fact that Patty Jenkins, who directed Monster, is the director, is a really good choice. And so I think this will hopefully open the doors for many women directors and many more female superheroes, and that's all to the good. And I think the look they designed for Wonder Woman is very, very good, this warrior woman look. And because Wonder Woman's costume is rather absurd, as are most superhero costumes if you look at them. I mean, Superman with his little red bathing trunks, which they've now gotten rid of in the movies. If you really saw a guy walking down the street wearing a Superman uniform, not having ever seen Superman, you would think he was a mental case, basically. And but interestingly enough, if you want to see something fascinating, the first person to ever portray Superman was an actor hired to walk around in a Superman uniform at the 1939 New York World's Fair, and that's fascinating. So you can probably Google that and find a photo of the guy, but that was before the movie serials with Kirk Allen, before the TV show with George Reeves, before the Christopher Reeve movies, all of that stuff. So well worth checking out. Superman is one of my favorite characters, and but I grew up reading Wonder Woman as well, and so I'm familiar with all the comics characters, and it's fascinating to watch these comic book movies, because Wonder Woman they got right. She's tough. She's interesting. They did the origin story, and it's a very different origin story from Superman or Batman or whatever. And but the DC films have been very uneven, as you all know. And the Joker was great way back when, and not the most recent incarnation. But the Heath Ledger one is terrific. But Batman, Superman, always very difficult. Though I like Henry Cavill as Superman. Though I thought Superman v Batman was ridiculous, just ridiculous. They both have a mother named Martha. It's crazy, stupid, really a waste of life to watch that movie. So, but this summer, some good movies. I did my commentary on Alien Covenant, so you can go back and watch that. Subscribe to Mr. Sci-Fi. Subscribe, and but beyond that, television is taking a very different tack with science fiction and fantasy, and many of the science fiction and fantasy shows that are on now are very dark, very grim, which is why I'm doing Space Command, because although Space Command is dramatic and filled with action and filled with character and filled with human moments, it's hopeful and it's upbeat without being saccharine, and I because I find, I haven't watched American Gods yet. I'm looking forward to it. But I started watching Handmaid's Tale because I knew I was going to be meeting and talking with the Hulu execs. And it's a very good show. It's very well done. In fact, I was talking to the creator and showrunner Bruce Miller yesterday, because I'm doing the new edition of the Twilight Zone Companion, which will be out at Christmas, and I'm going to be doing a panel of showrunners as an extra, and talking about Rod Serling, talking about the Twilight Zone, because they've all been hugely inspired by him. I was also talking to Jordan Peele about being part of that panel too. Jordan Peele just did Get Out, which is very much in the Serling tradition of of fantasy stories that illuminate illuminate, not eliminate, unfortunately, social problems. But and he's a very, very nice guy, very cool guy. So here's the thing about *Handmaid's Tale*. It's based on the novel by Margaret Atwood. It was made into a movie some years ago that was not successful, and now we have the show on Hulu. And Elizabeth Moss from Mad Men stars, and she's very good, and the production is very good. But it's so dreary. Dystopia, you can only take so much dystopia, and then you just kind of want to go have an ice cream or something. Uh, and, I watched it with Elaine, and I said, it's a good show, and we could watch all of it, but how much dreariness do you want? How much of a bummer do you want in your life? And, where are the shows where you just cheer and you're inspired, and they're not empty popcorn movies, but they're actually something that you can take into your life and say, okay, let's build something in this world. Let's make something. Let's do something. Let's create a better world. Dystopia I saw a very interesting thing. Ray Bradbury wrote this once. Ray was my friend and mentor, and he had signed a photo of himself, and apparently someone had asked him about comparing the book 1984, George Orwell's 1984, with Fahrenheit 451. And Ray wrote something very interesting. He wrote, 1984 is pessimistic, Fahrenheit 451 is optimistic. And I think that's absolutely true, because in Fahrenheit 451, like in 1984, spoiler, the hero is crushed. His spirit is crushed by the state, and that was Orwell's point. Whereas in Fahrenheit 451, Montag survives and prevails, and we have the sense that books will survive, and the human spirit will survive. And Ray was an optimist. And interestingly enough, Ray started as a liberal Democrat and ended up much more on the Republican side, but still he was a voice for the individual and a voice for freedom, and very proud of Fahrenheit 451. Interestingly enough, they're making a new version of Fahrenheit 451. The director, I guess writer-director of Creed and the star of Creed is going to be in that, and so it'll be an African-American lead, which will be very interesting as Montag, and Michael Shannon, who's a terrific actor, will be playing Beatty, the fire captain, the fire chief, and that again should be astonishing. If you've never seen the movie with Oscar Werner and Cyril Cusack and Julie Christie, the Fahrenheit 451 that Francois Truffaut directed in 1967, it's been released on Blu-ray in a special 50th anniversary edition, including an interview with Ray Bradbury, and it's a terrific film. It's one that I like very much. It's got a great Bernard Herrmann score, and Ray liked it very much, and so do I. And it's fascinating because Truffaut did not speak English, and so he's directing an English language film and doing a very, very good job of it. And it's one of the few films that takes a rather intellectual idea and makes it passionate. The love of books, the love of reading. It really presents that why we love books, what the reading brings to us. It's a terrific film, and prescient. I mean, with wall screens and TV shows where the people on TV are your friends, quote unquote, and it's just well worth watching. I highly recommend it. So that's sort of the basic outline of things now. I'm very committed to creating work both in books and TV and film. We're doing the feature with Lord Peter Hayne in England, and we have many other features we're going to be doing over the next few years. Very, very committed to doing socially progressive, inspiring, important work that moves people and perhaps can get people to take action in their lives. So that's sort of it for now. Feel free to email me, markzickrey@gmail.com. If you're interested in Space Command, we can definitely talk about that. But and also Starship Sofa has been airing some of my Mr. Sci-Fi commentaries on their podcast, so you can check those out too. So that's it for now. Subscribe to Mr. Sci-Fi on YouTube or elsewhere. We're getting the Mr. Sci-Fi audio podcast up and running again, I'm told, so you can check it out. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot. Talk soon. Bye-bye.